function in shell scripting. Okay. So sometimes we create programs, or you can say scripts. eh, Okay, and that script, if you want to reuse it, okay, uh, that means to save means time, we can reuse the code rather than writing the same code again and again. Once written, that same code can be reused. Okay, at that time we'll be using the function. Okay, so anytime in shell scripting, function is created using such syntax. Okay, so the function will have this round brackets, function name and round brackets, and some commands will be there which needs to be executed. Okay, so here this is the function. Okay, greet is one of the function. Okay, it's in round bracket, and inside it the logic is written that it should say hi, but it should say hi to $1. And as I explained in one of the previous topics, $1 means argument number one. Okay, so this is the script which is this is the function which I have created, and I'm calling that function here. Okay, so the function, while defining, we add this double brackets, but while calling, we'll just replace it with the variable. Variable means greet, that is the function name, and what it should have, it should be given a command line argument. Okay, so that we should know. Then the function is used. Okay, a command line argument is given, and output will be hello John. Okay, so understand this properly. This in round brackets will be defining a function. That function is used here. Okay, and that function should return some value. Okay, so for returning a value, we need to pass some values to it. Okay, so the first argument to this the function itself will be a value, and it echoes it on the screen. Okay, so this is one of the example. So here it is written, it should always return a value. Okay, the return value is typically an integer indicating zero success or failure, non-zero. Okay, so here we are calculating a sum. Okay, and saying that return sum. So most of the times we should write return here, and this is local variable exit. So that's the same thing. Okay, now let's write our function. So here we are defining a function add numbers. Okay, so remember here we have given two numbers. Okay, calculate the sum of two parameters. So in function we are defining a variable, and that variable we needs to be passed when that function is called. Okay, so here the function is defined which will give the sum. Okay, so here what we are doing, while calling that function, we are passing some variables to it which are required, $1 and $2. Okay, so add number 5 and 4, it will give the sum as 9. Okay, so here the function is defined, and here we are calling that function. Okay, so let's use this example, and let's also manipulate it or change the values and check what is the output we are getting. Let's run it. So I'll go back to the script. So cat function1 dot sh example, control D. Okay, so here the numbers will be added. Okay, this is the function we have defined, and here we are calling that function. Okay, and that function should be passed some values 5 and 4. Okay, so when we pass that value, function1 dot sh, it is giving the sum. Okay, now let me modify it. So first time I called that function to add 5 and 4. Now again, if I need to add 4 and 4, if there are no functions, okay, what I'll have to do, I'll have to write this logic again, at least this much logic again, and again we'll have to print it on the screen. But rather than doing that, what I can do, I'll just call this function again here on the next line, numbers 4 and 4. Okay, so now if you see, I've called that function again, and now this is given. So n number of times I can call the same function. I'm using the reusing that code. So one of the advantage of having function is we can reuse the code, numbers 1 and 1. Okay, so this is how the function is defined and then called. So one more example is given here. We are adding just a return statement. We should always write return because the function should return some value.